a bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, take that jack out over there.
They come looking for you downtown.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please. Rick Lanham. Rick Lanham, would you please come to the scoring tower? Rick Lanham. Rick Lanham, would you please come to the scoring tower? Set to get the qualifying underway. Driver on the speedway right now out of the free state of Maryland, Cerriva Park, Maryland. This is the 22A car of Alex Beaumont as he'll be picking up the green flag to get his qualifying underway. So Alex Beaumont underway with his qualifying. The track record here at the Speedway, 20.291. That's set by Ed Gibbons in the Hillbilly 100 in 1991. 20.291, your track record here at Pennsboro. First lap time on Alex Beaumont at 24.054. That's 24054. Lap number 1 for Alex Beaumont in the 22A car. Rolling onto the speedway right now in car number 4, Ed Ferree from Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. So Alex Beaumont coming in now for his second lap time. Second lap time at 23.306. 23306, the second lap time for Alex Beaumont in the 22A. So Ed Ferree underway right now, the Saxonburg, Pennsylvania driver. Past few years, a lot of campaigning out on the Busch Grand National circuit as he's got that orange and white number 4 car hooked up and heading down the backside of the racetrack into corner 3 and 4. Again, a reminder to you that the top 6 qualifiers will be automatically locked into the dash race, so qualifying very important. First lap time on Ed Ferree at 22.849. We'll need him out for another lap. So Bob Waring Jr., the son of legend Bob Waring Sr., on the speedway now in the 17W car as he rounds corner number 4 in on his first lap time. He'll stop the clock at 22.351. 22.351, the first lap time for Bob Waring Jr. out of Renfrew, Pennsylvania in the 17W car. Bob doing a lot of racing this year over at the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway and also up at the Lernerville Speedway as he comes in to complete his qualifying run. His second lap time at 23.612. So Ferree underway now with his second lap of qualifying as he'll try and better that first lap mark. Only a few cars qualified so far. Bob Waring Jr., the fast qualifier so far at 22.351. So early in qualifying, Waring Jr. with the standard as Ferree comes in to complete his run. His second lap time at 22.195. 22.195. The second lap time for Ed Ferree in car number 4. Out on the speedway right now, driving the Eckert Trucking 0 car. This is the young lion out of York, Pennsylvania, Rick Eckert. Rick Eckert on the speedway now in the number 0 car. Rick racing almost exclusively with the Stars by Arizona Racing Series in 1993, currently in the top 5. His first lap time at 21.412. 21.412, the first lap time for Rick Eckert. That's quick time as Rick Eckert really picking him up and laying him down in that Eckert Trucking sponsored mount. Bob Moskey on the speedway now in car 33. Second lap time for Rick Eckert at 21.742. 21742. Second lap time for Rick Eckert in the 0. Out on the speedway right now, driving one of the popular rocket chassis out of St. Clairsville, Ohio in car 33, Bob Moskey. Bob Moskey from St. Clairsville, Ohio on the track now in car 33. His first lap time at 22.379. 22.379, the first lap time for Bob Moskey. Rolling onto the speedway right now in car 77 is Charlie Maloney. Charlie Maloney on the speedway now in the 77. Second lap time for Bob Mosky at 22.281. 22.281. Second lap time for Bob Mosky. So Charlie Maloney out of Jacobsburg, Ohio on the speedway right now in the St. Clair Auto Parts sponsored Masters built chassis vehicle. Maloney doing a lot of racing the past couple of years up at the Buckeye Speedway in Oroville, Ohio, but this year in 1993, quite a bit of racing at the Muskingum County Speedway in Zanesville, Ohio, as he comes in now for his first lap time. First lap time at 22.545. 22.545. First lap time for Charlie Maloney in car 77. On to the speedway right now, the 68 car of Tim Hitt. So Chuck Maloney coming in to complete his qualifying run. He'll stop the clock at 22.012. 22.012. Second lap time for Chuck Maloney. Out on the speedway now with the green flag down and underway. Weston, West Virginia's Tim Hitt in car 68. Tim Hitt, a strong runner over the Interstate 79 Speedway in Shinston, West Virginia, clocking up all kinds of wins this year down at Interstate. I believe also the 1993 season champion down at Interstate 79. His first lap time at 21.580. 21.580 for Tim Hitt on his first lap. That would make him second quick so far. Rolling out now the 27 car of Phil O'Donnell. So Tim Hitt coming in to complete his qualifying run. He stops the clock at 21.634. 21.634. The second qualifying lap for Tim Hitt in car 68. Coming in now on the green flag to get his qualifying effort underway. Driver that was here with us yesterday at the Speedway, getting as much track time as possible throughout the preliminary day. Butler, Pennsylvania's Phil O'Donnell in car 27. Phil O'Donnell from Butler, PA on the clock now in the red and yellow 27. First lap time at 22.437. 22.437. The first lap time for Phil O'Donnell in the 27 car. Rolling out right now in the Rat 1 car, Steve Francis. Steve Francis on the speedway in the Rat 1. Second lap time on O'Donnell at 23.315. 2.3315. Second lap time for Phil O'Donnell. Steve Francis out of Ashland, Kentucky underway right now in the Rat 1 car. Losing a drive shaft out of the car during his hot lap session a little earlier today. Making the necessary repairs and getting back out for his qualifying spot. So Steve Francis working through the 3 and 4 corner now as he comes in to get his first lap of qualifying in. His first lap time at 22.100. 22.100. The first lap time for Steve Francis. Rolling on to the speedway now in the 4X car is Ed Basie. Ed Basie on the speedway in the 4X. Second lap time on Francis at 22.582. 22.582. The second lap time for Steve Francis in the Rat 1. So underway right now out of Augusta, Georgia in the 4X car. This is Ed Basie. Ed Basie out of Augusta, Georgia on the speedway. Lap time at 21.887. 21.887. First lap time for Ed Basie. That would make him the third quick qualifier so far. Again, the top 6 qualifiers are locked into the dash. In the number 6 spot now is Ed Ferree in car 4. Second lap time on Ed Basie at 21.881. 21.881, the second lap time for Ed Basie. Out on the speedway now to get his qualifying in, driving the M1 car. This is Mickey Wright from Albion, Pennsylvania. Mickey Wright from Albion, Pennsylvania on the speedway now in the M1 car. Friday night racer up at the Ace High Speedway in Conneaut, Ohio, and doing some Saturday night racing at Buckeye Speedway in Oroville. His first lap time at 24.277. 24.277. First lap time for Mickey Wright in the M1. Bart Hartman rolling onto the speedway now in the 11 car. And Mickey Wright going off the racing surface, high side of corner 3 and 4. That'll slow him up. His second lap time at 27.002. That's 27.002. The second lap time for Mickey Wright in the M1 car. Coming off the number 4 corner to get the green flag to get his qualifying underway. Top 10 driver with the Stars by Arizona Racing Series, the 1992 Stars Rookie of the Year, out of Zanesville, Ohio in the Hartman Truck Center. Arizona Sports Shirt sponsored 11 car. Second generation driver Bart Hartman. Lap time at 21.240. 21.240. Hartman fast qualifier early in the qualifying. Well, Chubb Frank rolling onto the speedway now in the 1-star car as Hartman comes off of corner number 4. He stops the clock at 2:07.49. 2:07.49 for Bart Hartman. Half a second off the track record and top qualifier early here in qualifying. Well, on the speedway right now, currently number 3 in the Stars points. They call him the Shoestring Traveler. He'll drive it until the wheels fall off. Out of Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania, this is Chubb Frank. Chubb Frank coming in now on his first lap. His first lap time at 22.260. 22.260. First lap time for Chubb Frank in the 1-star car. Heading onto the speedway right now in the 00K car is Freddie Smith. Freddie Smith on the speedway. Second lap time for Chubb Frank at 21.309. 21.309 for Frank. Makes him the second quick qualifier. On the speedway right now in the 00 car, originally out of Kings Mountain, North Carolina, now racing out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a well-liked man, Freddie Smith. Freddie Smith on the speedway now in the 00 car. So Freddie Smith coming in for his first lap time. He'll stop the clock at 21.321. 21.321 for Freddie Smith. His car is sponsored by SAS Bazooka Mobile Audio Products, Cintas, Golf Valve Service, G-Force Race Cars, Drame Racing Engines, Hoosier, Bilstein, Schoenfield, and Ron Davis Radiators. Second lap time on Freddie Smith at 2:08.51. 2:08.51 for Freddie Smith. Makes him second quick so far this afternoon. Out on the speedway right now, racing out of Fairmont, West Virginia, in the Myers Racing 57 car. This is Mark Myers. Mark Myers on the speedway now in car 57. First lap time for Mark Myers at 22.100. 22.100. First lap time for Mark Myers in car 57. Charlie Schaefer rolling onto the speedway now in car number 12. Second lap time on Mark Myers at 21.927. 21.927. Second lap time on Mark Myers. Out on the speedway right now in the Hampstead Liqueurs sponsored number 12 car, Westminster, Maryland's Charlie Schaefer on the track now in the black number 12. First lap time on Charlie Schaefer at 21.882. 21.882. First lap time on Charlie Schaefer in car number 12. Rolling onto the speedway right now, the lightning rod, Rodney Combs in car number 1. Second lap time for Charlie Schaefer at 23.019. 23.019. Second lap time for Charlie Schaefer. Well, out on the speedway right now, for all you Ford fans, this might be one of your cars. The lightning rod, Rodney Combs, originally out of Lost Creek, West Virginia, now calling home Harrisburg, North Carolina, as he's on the speedway in the Benson Ford number 1 car. Rodney racing a lot of Busch Grand National racing this year, two-time Hillbilly 100 winner. His first lap time at 22.031. 22.301. First lap time for, make that 031, 22.031. First lap time for Rodney Combs, the 1980, 91, and 92 Hillbilly 100 winner. His second lap time at 22.220. 22.220. Second lap time for Rodney Combs. Out on the speedway right now from Chillicothe, Ohio, in the Tecumseh Inn sponsored number 9 F car. This is Mark Fraser. Mark Fraser from Chillicothe, Ohio on the speedway. First lap time for Fraser at 22.244. 22.244. First lap time on Mark Fraser in the 9F car. Rolling onto the speedway right now, the 31C of Denny Chamberlain. Second lap time for Mark Fraser at 22.249. 22.249. Second lap time for Mark Fraser. So Denny Chamberlain underway now out of Lost Creek, West Virginia in the Tyler County Trucking sponsored 31C. Chamberlain quickly off of corner number 2 and down the back chute into corner 3. Looks as though he may have a good run going here. We'll see what he does as he comes off of corner number 4 in on this first lap. First lap time at 21.095. 21.095 for Denny Chamberlain. That would make Chamberlain the third quick qualifier so far. So Chamberlain trying to better his run on his second round. Second lap time at 2:0839. That's 2:0839 for Denny Chamberlain. He becomes second quick on the afternoon so far. And we were scheduled to have the 007 car of Roger Best out of Maryville, Tennessee. And Roger getting her spun back around over in corner number 3 as he'll be coming around to get the green flag to get himself underway. Roger Best out of Marysville, Tennessee, the 007 car. Car sponsored by Matco Tools. Well, as it stands right now, Bart Hartman is your fast qualifier so far. Again, the top 6 go to the dash. Sitting on the bubble now in that 6th spot is Tim Hitt in car 68. Time to beat to get into the top 6, 21.580. First lap time for Roger Best at 22.094. 22.094. First lap time for the Volunteer State driver Roger Best. We're rolling onto the speedway now in car number 99, Donnie Moran. Second lap time for Roger Best at 21.374. 21.374. The second lap time for Roger Best. Out on the speedway right now, making the repairs to the car after the shunt during the hot lap sessions, still known as the Frazeysburg Flash, the two-time defending Stars National Champion, Dresden, Ohio's Donnie Moran in car 99. His first lap time at 21.334. 21.334 makes Moran fifth quick qualifier so far. So Donnie Moran coming in to complete his qualifying run. Second lap time at 2:09.72. 2:09.72 for Donnie Moran makes him fourth quick so far this afternoon. Out on the speedway right now in car number 28 out of Tyler Mountain, West Virginia. This is Harold Redmond Sr. Harold Redmond Sr. on the speedway now in the 28 car. First lap time for Redmond at 22.143. 22.143, the first lap time for Harold Redmond. Well, as it stands right now with the top six qualifiers, Roger Best in the 007 car sitting on the bubble spot. So Redmond coming in for his second lap time at 21.081. 21.081 for Harold Redmond makes him fifth quick so far this afternoon. Chubb Frank now on the bubble in the one-star car. Out on the speedway right now in car number 5S out of Warren, Pennsylvania. This is Ron Stanko. Ron Stanko from Warren, PA on the speedway in the 5S car. First lap time on Ron Stanko at 23.121. 23.121. Second lap time on Ron Stanko at 22.418. 22.418, the second lap time for Ron Stanko. Well, out on the speedway right now, getting his qualifying in out of Cross Junction, Virginia, the Virginia Leadfoot. This is Rodney Franklin in the 01 car. Rodney Franklin on the speedway. Lap time for Franklin at 21.093. 21.093 for Rodney Franklin makes him the sixth quick qualifier so far. Franklin coming in to complete his qualifying run. Second lap time at 21.287. 21.287. Second lap time for Rodney Franklin. Out on the speedway right now from Pilgrim, Kentucky, driving the black and gold number 16 car, making that black, silver, and red car. That's Paul Davis. Paul Davis out of Pilgrim, Kentucky on the speedway. Paul Davis at 22.831. 22.831, first lap time for Paul Davis. Rolling onto the speedway now, the 65 car of Doug Hall. Second lap time for Paul Davis at 22.737. 22.737. So out on the speedway right now, currently racing in the top 10 in the Stars points. out of Charleston, West Virginia, driving the Don's Disposal D&J Racing 65 car. This is Doug Hall. Doug Hall on the speedway in the 65 as he comes in on lap number 1. His first lap time at 21.229. 21.229. First lap time for the 65 car of Doug Hall. Rolling onto the speedway now on the number 1 Cochran Pontiac car, Lynn Geisler. Second lap time on Doug Hall at 21.266. 21.266. Second lap time for Doug Hall in the 65. Out onto the speedway right now with the green flag down and his qualifying effort underway. Out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, car is sponsored by Cochran Pontiac GMC, the world's largest GM dealer. This is Lynn Geisler, the 1993 Lernerville Speedway late model stock car champion. His first lap time at 2:07:00. Geisler quick time 2:07:00. Quick time for Lynn Geisler. Second lap time for Geisler at 2:07:20. 2:07:20. Lap number 2 for Geisler, but Lynn Geisler now your top qualifier with that 2:07:00 run. Out on the speedway right now out of Indiana, Pennsylvania, driving the ST1 car. This is Rick Strong. Rick Strong on the speedway in the ST1, the driver out of Indiana, Pennsylvania, and Rick loops her around on the top side of corner 3 and 4. That'll slow him up, see if he can't get the car refired, and yes, he does. So he'll only be getting this white flag coming down. He'll have to get a good lap here on lap number 2. First lap time at 31.075. 31.075, the first lap time for Rick Strong with the spin up in 3 and 4. Rolling onto the speedway now, and the 24L car is J.T. Lloyd. Second lap time on Rick Strong at 22.856. That's 22.856. The second lap time for Rick Strong. Out on the speedway and underway with his qualifying effort out of New Haven, West Virginia. This is J.T. Lloyd. J.T. Lloyd out of New Haven, West Virginia, getting her a bit crossed up coming off of corner 2. J.T. Lloyd at 23.703. Well, underway with his qualifying effort right now, one of the strong Chargers out of the Empire State of New York. Jamestown, New York is his hometown. This is Dick Barton. Dick Barton out of Jamestown, New York in the 28B car. Car sponsored by the Bolt Place in Coors Light. His first lap time at 2:09:49. 2:09:49 for Dick Barton makes him the 5th quick qualifier so far. Donnie Moran now on the bubble as far as the Fast 6 goes. Second lap time for Dick Barton at 2:07:04. 2:07:04 for Dick Barton makes him 2nd quick so far today. Out on the speedway right now out of Union, Kentucky, one of the hard chargers in the Florence, Kentucky area. This is Darrell Lanigan in car number 29. Darrell Lanigan on the speedway in the Arizona Sports Shirt sponsored car. Lap time for Lanigan at 21.176. 21.176. The first lap time for Darrell Lanigan, driver out of Union, Kentucky. Rolling onto the speedway now, Bobby Burgess in the 34 car. Second lap time for Lanigan at 2:07:04. 20953. 20953 for Lanigan. Bumps Moran out of the top 6. Lanigan now 6th quick. Out on the speedway now in the 34 car from Allison Park, Pennsylvania. This is Bobby Burgess. Bobby Burgess out of Allison Park, Pennsylvania on the speedway. A regular competitor at the Lernerville Speedway and the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway as he works his way off of corner number 4. His first lap time at 21.219. 21.219. First lap time for Bobby Burgess. Rolling onto the speedway now, the T8 car of Mark Banal. Second lap time on Bobby Burgess at 21.434. 21.434. Second lap time for Bobby Burgess. Underway right now in the T8 car from Dillonvale, Ohio. This is Mark Banal. It's powered by a Malkin Racing engine. Sponsorship coming from the Mag Shop. So Mark Banal underway now in the T8. First lap time for Mark Banal at 21.037. 21.037. The first lap time for Mark Banal in the T8. Rolling onto the speedway now in the 16 car is J.R. Simmons. Second lap time for Mark Banal at 21.004. 21.004. The second lap time for Mark Banal, that would make him, I believe, 8th quick so far. So out on the speedway and underway right now in car number 16 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. This is J.R. Simmons. J.R. with a big push in the car as he worked through corner number 2. First lap time for J.R. Simmons at 23.083. Out on the speedway and underway right now, yesterday's winner of the Backyard 20 for the Skull Racing Modified Challenge Series cars. He's known as the Bandit out of Racine, Ohio, the A55 car of Bob Adams Jr. First lap time for Adams at 22.544. 22.544. First lap time for Bob Adams Jr. Rolling onto the speedway now, the 89 car of Steve Barnett. Second lap time on Bob Adams Jr. at 22.732. 22.732. Second lap time for Bob Adams Jr. Underway with his qualifying effort right now, almost a lock for the 1993 Stars by Arizona Racing Series Rookie of the Year title in the Bradley Chevrolet C.J. Rayburn Chassis 89 car. Franklin, Indiana, Steve Barnett on the speedway in the 89 car. His first lap time at 21.449. 21.449. The first lap time for Steve Barnett. Rolling onto the speedway now in the 42 car is Jeff Robinson. Jeff Robinson on the speedway in car 42. Second lap time on Steve Barnett at 21.674. 21.674. Lap number 2 for Steve Barnett. Out on the speedway now with the green flag down to get his qualifying effort underway. The driver out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania, currently number 10 in the Stars points. He's driving the Cowan truck line. Cal Hahn's Ford Lincoln Mercury sponsored Ford Thunderbird with the Ford blue underneath of the hood. This is Jeff Robinson. His first lap time at 21.996. 21.996. First lap time for Jeff Robinson. Rolling onto the speedway now, the 59 car of Dub Barnhouse. Second lap time on Robinson at 21.390. 21.390. Second lap time for Jeff Robinson. Underway with his qualifying effort right now out of Caldwell, Ohio, in the Batmobile, as he affectionately calls it. This is Dub Barnhouse in car 59. Dub Barnhouse, one of the independent campaigners, and you can almost lay even odds that when there's a Stars race in the Ohio Valley area, this guy is going to be there. Dub Barnhouse in car 59. First lap time on Hornsby at 22.259. 22.259. The qualifying time, first lap time for Henry Hornsby. Rolling onto the speedway now in car 49 is Brian Ruhlman. Second lap time for Henry Hornsby at 23.147. 23.147. Second lap time for Henry Hornsby in the 39. Next qualifier out on the speedway from Frewsburg, New York. Driving the 49 car, this is Brian Ruhlman. Brian Ruhlman, a strong campaigner at the State Line Speedway and Erie Speedway circuit in western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania. His first lap time at 21.156. 21.156, the first lap time for Brian Ruhlman in the 49. Rolling out now, car 38, that would be Kenny Johnson. And we had a clock malfunction, so we'll have to put the 49 car of Ruhlman back on the clock for his second lap. Petersburg driver coming in for his first lap. His first lap at 24.150. 24.150, the first lap time for the Raps Chevron-sponsored 38 car of Kenny Johnson. Rolling onto the speedway now in the 84 car is Steve Baker. And Kenny Johnson loops the car sideways in corner 3 and 4 and ducks her down into the pit area. And so Kenny Johnson will call off his qualifying as he went to the infield area, I'm pretty sure, down in corner number 4. So our next driver up now for his qualifying effort out of Fairmont, West Virginia, driving the Phil Lucon number 84 car. This would be Steve Baker. Steve Baker on the speedway right now in the Rocket Chassis car. Steve and Mark Richards, of course, partnership with the Rocket Chassis in Interstate 79 Speedway. First lap time for Steve Baker at 21.476. 21.476. The first lap time for Steve Baker. Rolling out now in car number 55 is Ty Long. Second lap time on Steve Baker at 2:07:07. 2:07:07 for Steve Baker. Makes him third quick on the afternoon. So Steve Baker, third quick qualifier, as Ty Long sees either a radiator or a motor go up in smoke as he got the green flag and entered corner 1 and 2. And problems on the Ty Long machine out of Cambridge, Ohio.
Buchanan, West Virginia, this is John Ward. John Ward out of Buchanan, West Virginia. First car back out on the speedway in the B&B Tire sponsored car. Ward, a regular at the Elkins Motor Speedway on Saturday night up in Elkins, West Virginia. Ward on his opening lap of 2 here this afternoon. First lap time, 23.506. 23.506. Now back under qualifying now. Driver of the E1 automobile, they call him the Floodwall Flyer, based out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, Mike Balzano. Balzano letting the car drift up just a little bit out of turns 1 and 2, gathers it back in. Here he comes out of 3 and 4 to complete his opening lap. Balzano 21.425. 21.425 for Mike Balzano. chassis with a drained small block Chevrolet under the hood of that automobile for power. Second lap time, 21:092. 21:092. Out in the drain-powered Masterbuilt chassis automobile, the driver out of the Buckeye State, Dayton, Ohio's, ladies and gentlemen, this is Larry Moore. Larry Moore aboard the Bobby Allen-owned automobile out of Baltimore, Maryland. Moore hasn't lost none of his form. 2:07.56. 2:07.56, your fifth fastest qualifier. Larry Moore, right in the step of things. Even quicker, 2:05.41, your fast qualifier. Dayton, Ohio's Larry Moore back in town. Larry Moore is back in town. Here he is, your fast qualifier, Dayton, Ohio's Larry Moore. Now on the speedway now, in car number 33, New Rock, Ohio's Aaron Scott. Aaron Scott having a little bit of problems in 3 and 4.
Decided to pull off the tour. A good running young driver. A lot of talent here. Let's see if he can gather it up and pick up
That opening lap. Aaron's first time, 42.00. Second lap time, 2:03.271. 2:03.271. Now out of West Burlington, Iowa, in the J&J Steel, number 99, ladies and gentlemen, this is Johnny Johnson, the Hawkeye driver out of North Burlington, Iowa. 21:286. 21:286. Johnny Johnson, the 25-year veteran out of West Burlington, Iowa. Second time, 2:01.121. 2:01.121. Out now in the 16A, Orville, Ohio's Dean Alexander. Dean Alexander aboard the 16A. Another 25-year veteran, Dean Alexander. First lap time, 21:740. 21:740. Alexander, a regular at the Buckeye Speedway on Saturday night. (21:636). 21:636. If this guy can gather this track up, he'll have a pretty good time. In car number 31 out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Skip Ard. Skip Ard in the 31 out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Skip Ard working the throttle through turns 3 and 4. 21:485. 21:485. Skip Ard down the back chute. Second lap time, 2:01.3 21,375. In the 14 car, Worcester, Ohio's, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jim Gentry. Jim Gentry aboard the M&J Enterprise, sponsored number 14 car. Pretty good time for Gentry, 2:06.92. Your second fast qualifier, Jim Gentry, sneaking right in there. Hey, Gentry raises some eyebrows with that time, 2:06.92. Hey, 21,270, 21,270, but that first lap time, Gentry will stand on that one. 2:06.92. Things are starting to change real quick. Don't blink your eye or change the channel. Because on the speedway now, the 00 automobile, Booper Bear. Booper Bear in the Fitzgerald Lumber Company car. As he works out of 3 and 4, 21,420. 21,420 for Super Booper himself, Booper Bear. Booper drives the car down into 3 and 4, hugs the inside. Uh-oh, little trouble, that'll hurt him. 21,508, 21,508 for Booper Bear. Indiana, Pennsylvania, Dan Peichel in the Universal Repair 100 automobile out of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Dan, a regular up around the Challenger Speedway up around Indiana, Pennsylvania. I think he runs over at the Windber Speedway at Windber, Pennsylvania also on Saturday night. 24070. The speedway now in car number B4. They call this gentleman Blackjack. Gratian, Kentucky's, ladies and gentlemen, Jack Boggs. Jack Boggs driving the Miller Brothers, sponsored number B4. Boggs working off of 4. Here he comes, opening lap of 2. Good time, 2:08.46. 2:08.46. That's quick, but not quick enough. That'll put Boggs definitely into the top 10 with that time. Here comes Boggs on his second lap. Let's see if he bonsais this one. Yeah, even quicker, 2:07.59. 2:07.59. I do believe that will just put Boggs out of the top 6. 7. Your 7th fastest qualifier, Jack Boggs with that time. Hey, here's the guy that took all the marbles home, the $5,000 last night at Interstate 79 Speedway. In car number 30, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Shaver. Shaver, first time, 2:09.63. 2:09.63 for the Route 47 carryout. Sponsored drain-powered automobile of Steve Shaver. Let's see if Shaver. Look at him, power off of turn 4. 21,499, 21,499. Out of Williston, Ohio, this is Don Clark. Don Clark in the 1C automobile. Now, if you are scoring this race here this afternoon, you've got your hands full of 1 cars. Clark's first time, 22,361, 22,361. We've got a slew of number 1s. We've got the M1, the J1, the C1, the S1, the RAT1. We got a M1, we got an assortment of ones. This is 1C. We got 2 1Cs and 1 RC. Okay, Don Clark, second time. Wow, 2s all the way across the board. 2-2, 2-2-2. This is the M1, another one. This is M1 in your program. No introduction needed to this gentleman, the engine builder out of Strasburg, Ohio, Brad Malkut. Brad Malkut aboard the Medic Alert car, just taking over this ride about 4 weeks ago. Malkut behind the wheel. 21-2-1-1, 2-1-2-1-1 for the Bullet chassis car of B.A. Malkut. Second lap time for Brad Malkut, 2:09.25, 2:09.25. Pretty good time for Brad. Leesburg, Kentucky, the 114 of Randall Chupp. Randall Chupp, ladies and gentlemen, in the 114 Miller Brothers sponsored car. Chupp's first lap time, 2:16.51, 2:16.51. The first time that Chupp has ever been at the Pennsboro Speedway behind the wheel of a race car. In the 114 automobile, rookie driver Randall Chupp in the 114 car. 21.544. Excuse me, 21.541. Stand to be corrected, 21.541. Prestonburg, Kentucky, the white number 10 of Paul Harris. Paul Harris now in car number 10. First lap time for the Harris trucking car, 21.656. Excuse me, 21.666. 21.666. Second lap time, 2:26.23. 2:26.23. Here's a gentleman last year who made the 1992 Dirt Track World Championship. The only rookie driver to cut the field out of Imperial, Pennsylvania. Car number 2, Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson in car number 2. 21.332, 21.332 for the Imperial Hoist, sponsored number 2 car of Mike Johnson. Second lap time, 2:12.56, 2:12.56. Now the Speedway now, over 20 feature wins in 1993 for this gentleman. He is a 3-time Stars winner this season. Car number 44 out of Westminster, Maryland, Gary Stuhler. $20957, 20957 for Gary Stuhler. Here comes Stuhler in an H&E Racing engine special. Second lap time, 2:07.72, 2:07.72 for Gary Stuhler. That puts him into the 8th fastest qualifier, Gary Stuhler, with 8th fastest time that time. In car number 07, Brett Rosenberg. Excuse me, that's Rainbergen. In car number 07, first lap time 22.737. 22.737.
670.
Now the Starlight Trucking 01 automobile out of Augusta, Georgia. This is Jack Pennington. Jack Pennington, one of those Georgia bandits. Augusta, Georgia on the Speedway opening lap. A little bit of trouble for Pennington on the back chute. He gathers the car back in. First lap time 22.063. 22.063, and Pennington a little bit slow going into 1 and 2 that time. Again wants a little bit slip up in turns 3 and 4. Here he comes. Jack Pennington, second lap time. 2.1669 for Jack Pennington. Well, Brent, since you left, we've got a new leader right now on the board.
Larry Moore, the top qualifier so far as we wind down qualifying for this 25th annual Turbo Blue Racing Gasoline's Hillbilly 100. On the speedway right now in the Thrifty Muffler Maslin Transmission sponsored CJ Rayburn chassis number 19 car. This is Alan Baker from Maslin, Ohio. Alan's first lap time at 21.451. 21.451. The first lap time for Alan Baker from Maslin, Ohio in car number 19. Alan began racing the 1993 year in the Pro Stock division, moved into the late models about a month ago at Buckeye and has done real well. His second lap time at 21.857. 21.857. Second lap time for Alan Baker. Out on the speedway right now in the Ray Vest Excavating Rod's Performance sponsored number 24 car. This is Nathan Durborough from Hagerstown, Maryland. Nathan Durborough on the speedway in the 24 car. His first lap time at 21.334. 21.334. First lap time for Nathan Durborough in the 24 car. Rolling onto the speedway now, current point leader with the Stars by Arizona Racing Series, Davey Johnson. Second lap time for Durborough at 21.522. 21.522. Second lap time for Nathan Durborough. On the speedway right now with 10 Stars wins to his credit in 1993. He's the current point leader out of New Alexandria, Pennsylvania, driving the Angelico and Henry Motorsports 1J car. This is Davey Johnson. His first lap time at 2:07:01. Johnson is fourth quick. 2:07:01. Johnson with the fourth quick time, knocking Bart Hartman off the bubble spot in the sixth spot. Johnson coming in his Bullet chassis with drain power. Second lap time, quick time on the afternoon, 2:03:34 for Davey Johnson. Davey Johnson, your quick qualifier at 2:03:34. On the speedway right now, driving the Gator Harris Sabatini's car sales sponsored 55 car. This is Scott Peltz from Georgetown, Ohio. Scott won the Outhouse 30 last year here at the Speedway as he comes in to complete his first lap. His first lap time at 21.664. 21.664. The first lap time for Scott Peltz in car 55. Rolling onto the speedway right now in the number 1 car, Charge and Charlie Swartz. Second lap time for Scott Peltz at 21.345. 21.345 for Scott Peltz on lap number 2. Out on the speedway right now, a former Hillbilly 100 champion, former Dirt Track World 100 champion winner, Now calling home Bradley, West Virginia, driving the Jack Williams Racing Swartz chassis number 1 car. Charge, and Charlie Swartz in now on lap number 1. His first lap time at 22.341. 22.341. First lap time for Charlie Swartz. Rolling onto the speedway now in car number 72, Racing John Mason. Second lap time for Charlie Swartz at 2:09.36. That's 2:09.36. Second lap time for Charlie Swartz in car number 1. Out on the speedway and underway right now, the independent campaigner out of Millersburg, Ohio, former dirt track world champion. Last Sunday, he won the big race at the Illinois Fall Nationals on the mile track in Springfield, Illinois. Racing John Mason in car 72. His first lap time at 2:07.87. That's 2:07.87 for Mason. Right now, Steve Baker on the bubble in the 84 car at 2:07.07. That's the time to beat to break into the top 6. Second lap time for Mason at 2:14.96. 2:14.96. Second lap time for John Mason. Out on the speedway right now and underway, the man that's been snake bitten more than probably anyone in the past 5 years here at the Pennsboro Speedway. In the Barry Wright house car, number 18, out of Mooresburg, Tennessee, it's the Bloomer, Scott Bloomquist in car 18. His first lap time at 2:06.70. Bloomquist is third quick at 2:06.70. Bloomquist coming in for his second lap time. Second lap time at 2:07.49. 2:07.49. Second lap time for Scott Bloomquist. But lap number 1 good enough to make him third quick. Out on the speedway right now, one of those hard chargers out of Duke Center, Pennsylvania. He's known as the Duke Center Terror in the Andrews Auto Salvage Bullet Chassis 17 car. This is Todd Andrews. His first lap time at 21.174. 2:11.74. First lap time for Todd Andrews. Rolling onto the speedway right now. Final qualifier on the afternoon, Mark Miner in car number 7. Second lap time for Todd Andrews at 2:09.82. 2:09.82. The second lap time for Todd Andrews in car 17. Our final qualifier of the afternoon out on the speedway right now in the red number 7 out of Stockbridge, Georgia. This is Mark Miner. Mark Miner from Stockbridge, Georgia on the speedway in the red number 7. First lap time for Miner at 22.518. That's 22.518. First lap time for Mark Miner in car 7. Second lap time on Mark Miner at 22.204. 22.204. Second lap time for Mark Miner. So 77 cars scheduled to qualify, 73 cars taking time. Your top 6 qualifiers look like this. The 6th quick qualifier is Dick Barton, the New York driver in the 28B at 2:07.04. Lynn Geisler, the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania driver in the Cochran Pontiac 1C car. Your 5th quick qualifier at 2:07.00. The 4th quick qualifier then would be the 14 car of Jim Gentry of Worcester, Ohio. Gentry qualifying at 2:06.92. Third quick qualifier is Scott Bloomquist of Tennessee in the 18 car at 2:06.70. Second quick qualifier, the Ohio driver Larry Moore in car 55 at 2:05.41. And your fastest qualifier of 73 cars out of New Alexandria, Pennsylvania in the Angeliquio and Henry Motorsports 1J. How about a nice round of applause for fast qualifier Davey Johnson?
Also, so we'll have a little bit of downtime before we get the first qualifying heat race underway. A lot of racing to take place today. We will be having the heat racing activity followed by the dash event. That'll be followed then by the field area. The heat race lineups have been posted on the race lineup board.
Well, once again, a good afternoon to you, race fans, and welcome to the prestigious, legendary Pennsboro Speedway as we get set for our running of this 25th annual Turbo Blue Racing Gasoline's Hillbilly 100 event. On behalf of promoter Rick Gross, glad to have you all here. And before we get our racing activity underway for the day, would you please all rise, remove your hats. And again, thank you and welcome to the legendary Pennsboro Speedway for the qualifying races for the 25th annual Turbo Blue Racing Gasoline's Hillbilly 100. The head flagman is Ed Frederick. He'll be assisted by son Jeremy Frederick and Dan Miller. The safety flagman in corner number 1 is Brian Tomlin. Safety worker in corner number 2 is Dave Ludeman. And the safety flagman in corner number 3 is Tim Odell. The pit stewards are Gary Stoller, Randy Shanklin, and Paul Rohde. The head judge is Bob McGovern. Heading up scoring is Carol Tope with assistance from Bob Ackerman and Diana Wagar. And your announcers from the Interstate 79 Speedway, the voice of I-79, Pete Secret, and myself, Brett Emmerich from Buckeye Speedway in Oroville, Ohio. Glad to have you all here for the racing activity. First qualifying heat race behind the number 1 Cochran Pontiac GMC pickup, the official pace vehicle of the Pennsboro Speedway. The starting lineup on the front row will have the 84 car of Steve Baker to the inside. Outside of him in car number 31 will be Denny Chamberlain.
Row 2, it looks like Parkersburg, West Virginia's car 30, Steve Shaver, and neighbor Parkersburg's Mike Balzano in the E1.
Row number 3 scheduled to the inside will be the 65 car of Doug Hall. Outside of him will be the 007 car, Tennessee's Roger Best.
The Franklin Flower himself, Steve Barnett, in car number 89 out of Franklin, Indiana, and Prestonburg, Kentucky's car 10, Paul Davis.
On the number 5 row then to the inside should be the 77 car of Charlie Maloney out of Jacobsburg, Ohio. Alongside him then the 1C car of Don Clark out of Wilston, Ohio.
6th row will be Bob Waring Jr., the 17W, and Pilgrim, Kentucky's car 16, Paul Davis.
And rounding out the field on row number 7 to the inside will be the 33X car of Aaron Scott from Newark, Ohio. Albion, Pennsylvania's Mickey Wright outside of him in the M1X. We'll go 15 laps of racing with the heat races. The top 3 drivers advance to the Hillbilly 100. Remainder of the field then will be going into one of 2 consolation events a little bit later on this afternoon. So it's Steve Baker and Denny Chamberlain sitting up in front. The Mountaineer State drivers getting ready to get this first qualifying heat race underway as we get set to get the field in shape for the Hillbilly 100. Green flag out and we're underway.
Baker takes the lead. Baker goes up a little bit high. Look at Schaefer trying down on the inside.
And the yellow flag will be right out as we've got a spin down in corner number 1. The Marysville, Tennessee driver, Roger Best in the 007 car, got turned around. A little contact made between he and the 89 car of Steve Barnett as they thundered down into corner number 1.
3rd row on the outside. Tough break will have the heat racing activity, but they do have 15 laps of racing, trying to work their way up towards the front. in this afternoon, and Brent, we're ready to go as they head down the back chute.
Well, head flagman Ed Frederick checking the field over as they head down into corner number 3 and 4. They start to pick up the pace. He likes what he sees. Green flag out, and we're back racing with this opening heat race for the Hillbilly 100.
Chamberlain up on the outside very quickly, goes down on the inside. Uh-oh, Chamberlain leaves the door open. Here comes Mike Balzano, and Roger Best is in trouble once again up in turns 3 and 4. Roger Best, a lot of cars on the back chute. Uh-oh, we've got one car. Looks like Best again now in turns 3.
So yellow flag will wave again as the Tennessee driver, Roger Best. I imagine he would like for this day to move back about 15 minutes ago and see if he couldn't start it all over again. As Roger Best out of Marysville, Tennessee in the 007 car, trouble again down in corner number 3. The 33X car of Aaron Scott also being involved, the young driver out of Newark, Ohio, and Don Clark out of Wellston in the 1C car also had some problems on that opening lap as he got a little bit swirly going off the number 2 corner. And believe Clark able to get his way away from that accident scene down there in corner number 3. But a lot of damage on the front end of that 007 car of Roger Best.
Tire, Ross Performance, Drain Racing Engines, Racing Series.
Back off and my, Pete looked out in that infield area on the back of that Work Tractor Sales Wrecker, that 007 car of Roger Best out of Marysville, Tennessee. He got her front and rear, a lot of damage on the car.
I want to tell you, Roger should have long afternoon for that gentleman out of Tennessee. Looks like his day is definitely over. Okay, we're ready to go. Chamberlain on the outside. Now that 84 car that Baker is driving, that is the car that Denny Chamberlain drove in the 1992 Dirt Track World Championship here at Pennsboro last October. Chamberlain subbed in for Baker. Baker with an injured hand. Chamberlain did the driving chores on that automobile back in 1992, so he might know the race car a little bit.
Green flag condition here
on this first qualifying heat race. So Steve Baker, Denny Chamberlain bring the field around. Green flag waves as we get back underway.
Chamberlain pulled the hat trick off that time. That is what he needed to do. Now they have to get one lap on the book as they exit turn 2.
Down the back chute they go, heading down into tight confines of corner number 3. Chamberlain out in front with Baker second. Balzano sits third. Shaver back to 4th as we come into complete lap 1.
Denny Chamberlain on the drop of the green got the jump on Steve Baker and took the field down into 1 and 2, and look at Chamberlain start to pull the real estate between him and the 84 car.
Well, Steve Shaver dropping back just a bit on Balzano as they headed down the back chute. Chamberlain opening up at about a 10-car length lead as Baker sits second, Balzano third. Shaver running 4th, and Doug Hall, the number 5 spot. Barnett sits 6th. Then it's Maloney 7th, and Doug Hall scrapes the wall in corner 1 and 2. He loses a position as Barnett moves up to the number 5 spot.
I thought it was lights out for the 65 car of Doug Hall. He did a good job of keeping the front end off the guardrail. The rear end of the car hit, and Hall just barely saving that car in the 65 car, but he's lost a lot of valuable positions. The driver from down in southern West Virginia, down around St. Albans, one of the drivers going for the Rookie of the Year contention, the 7065 car.
So Denny Chamberlain extends that lead to half a straightaway over Steve Baker as Balzano continues to race third. Steve Shaver in that number 4 spot with Barnett sitting 5th. First couple opening laps of the race, we saw Steve Shaver duck to the inside of Balzano going through corner number 2. But Mike apparently with a little bit more horsepower or maybe tires hooking up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Steve's having a lot of problems getting off the corner. He seems to be getting in all right, but the car, as soon as he steps on the gas, we can see the rear end of the car. Watch him now as he comes out of turns 1 into 2. Watch the rear end of the car just barely start to slip away. Right there, you can see Shaver losing some real estate between him and the E1. He's trying to gather in that rear quarter panel of Mike Balzano for the last transfer position.
Well, as the race continues on, it's scheduled for 15 laps of racing and only the top 3 to continue on. Right now, Denny Chamberlain is out and gone in that Tyler County Trucking 31 car as he is blistering the field, pulling away and putting all kinds of real estate between he and second running Steve Baker. Now a full front straightaway lead.
Well, Denny Chamberlain, no stranger to Pittsburgh. He's been here for about 14 to 15 years. He ran as high as fourth in the Hillbilly 100. That was back in 1981.
And a yellow flag out on the speedway as we've got a spin down in corner number 4. Believe it's the 33X car of Aaron Scott, the young driver out of Newark, Ohio. The Subway-sponsored car, I believe, as he got turned around in corner number 4. And yes, that's who it is.
In 4.
So Chamberlain starts to pick up the pace a bit. Goes around the 4 corner. Green flag out, and we're back to racing.
Mike Balzano knows he's got a tough customer behind him, Steve Shaver. Does not want to make any slip-ups. So I think Balzano will wait for Baker to make the mistake and try not to move on Baker, as he knows Shaver is just ready to strike.
Well, the field comes in now on the crossed sticks. 8 down, we're halfway through with 7 racing laps remaining. As Chamberlain continues now to extend his lead in that 31 car. There's Shaver again looking at the inside of Balzano in corner 2, but not able to find it. As Mike able to get the traction off the second corner and pull out to a lead.
Well, the second place driver, Steve Baker, behind the wheel of the Phil Luton car, a regular up at the Pittsburgh Motor Speedway. Baker, only probably about 10 or 12 times that he has raced this season. The car only runs on Saturday night up at the Pittsburgh Motor Speedway.
Well, just a few more laps remaining in this first qualifying heat race. Right now, the battle is for that number 2 spot as Mike Balzano all over Steve Baker's back bumper as they race through the 1 and 2 corner. Balzano letting Baker know that I'm back there. Shaver falls off the pace a little bit with Barnett continuing to race 5th.
With Baker's car starting to lose underneath of him, Brent. The car's really starting to break loose quite a bit. I know Balzano is not going to make any serious mistakes, but Steve Baker's car starting to slow up quite a bit. I think Mike's going to have to make a decision. Here comes Steve Shaver now.
Well, Mike Balzano again looks at the inside of Steve Baker down the backside of the racetrack. Chamberlain still out in front, but that battle for second and third as Baker able to extend his lead to a car length up the front chute. Watch him come off the corner number 2, though. Balzano will stick the nose right down low underneath of Baker. There he goes. Balzano looks at the inside as they drag race down the backside, but he can't find him as they head into corner 3.
Once again, I think Mike is just kind of keeping his eye to the left-hand side and trying to hear Steve Shaver behind him. I think as long as he knows that Steve Shaver is not challenging for that third and last transfer spot, I think Mike's going to be content to run there.
Well, race leader Denny Chamberlain down through the number 3 and 4 corner as the white cloth comes out, signifying one more racing lap to go. So Chamberlain out in front with Baker continuing to race second, Balzano third, Shaver fourth, and Barnett fifth. Charlie Maloney and Doug Hall a little contact down in corner 4, but everybody gets away clean. Coming down through the number 3 and 4 corner, coming in on the checkered flag, your first heat winner, it'll be Denny Chamberlain picking up on the win. Second spot will go to Steve Baker in car 84, Balzano third, Shaver fourth, with Barnett finishing 5th, Doug Hall 6th, then it's Maloney, followed by Harris, Waring Jr., Davis, and Mickey Wright. So your top 3 finishers advancing into the Hillbilly 100. In the number 3 spot is the E1 car of Mike Balzano. Second spot goes to the 84 car of Steve Baker. And your first heat winner driving the Tucker County Trucking number 31C car, Lost Creek, West Virginia's Denny Chamberlain in car 31. This one ought to be a dandy. We've got some heavy hitters in this one here. Starting on the pole will be the 11 car of Bart Hartman from Zanesville, Ohio. Outside of that front row will be the double OK car of Baton Rouge, Louisiana's Freddie Smith.
Oh my, look at this second row. On the inside, dressed in Ohio's car number 99, Donnie Moran, and I tell you what, Cross Junction, Virginia's the 0-1 of Rodney Franklin.
Row number 3, starting to the inside, will be the number 2 car, the youngster out of Imperial, Pennsylvania, Mike Johnson. Outside of that third row will be the 31 car of Knoxville, Tennessee, Skip Arp.
Out of Navarrete, Ohio, the 19 car will be Alan Baker, and out of Augusta, Georgia, it'll be the 01 of Jack Pennington.
On row number 5, then to the inside will be the 1 RC car of the Lightning Rod, Rodney Combs, out of Harrisburg, North Carolina. Outside of him will be the 9F car of Mark Fraser out of Chillicothe, Ohio.
In the next row, towards the back of the pack out of Warren, Pennsylvania, it'll be the 5 car of Ron Stanko, and right beside him, it'll be car number 24, New Haven, West Virginia's J.T. Lloyd.
On the last row, then, scheduled to the inside, will be the 22A of Alex Beaumont from Saruba Park, Maryland. And scheduled to start outside of that last row, probably won't make the call, the 55L of Ty Long of Cambridge, Ohio, as Long scattered a motor during the qualifying, and his day looks to be done. So the field pulling away now behind the pace vehicle here at the Pennsboro Speedway. The beautiful extended cab pickup, courtesy of #1 Cochran Pontiac GMC, the world's largest GM dealership.
He gets ready to go with his second 15-lap qualifier.
In the back here in this next heat race.
Now we'll see what happens as that #1 Cochran Pontiac GMC pace vehicle heads down to the infield area, getting set to go here with his second qualifier. This one's going to be one heck of a race, I got a feeling. How many of you race fans think it'll be the second-generation driver Bart Hartman picking up on the win? How many of you race fans have your coins in that 00K car of Freddie Smith? How many think it might be Donnie Moran picking up the win in car 99? How many think it might be the old Virginia Leadfoot Rodney Franklin in that 01 car? Well, we'll soon find out as they start to pick up the RPMs and the horsepower. Green flag out, heat race number 2 underway.
Everyone drag racing down the front chute. And look at Bart Hartman getting the advantage. For the veteran Freddie Smith dumps down on the inside. It's Bart Hartman down the back chute.
Down into corner number 3 and 4. Bart Hartman out in front as Freddie Smith ducks in underneath his back bumper. Moran sits third with Franklin racing fourth. Young Mike Johnson sits fifth with Skip Hart racing sixth. And it's Jack Pennington followed by Alan Baker, Rodney Combs, and Mark Fraser, Ron Stanko, J.T. Lloyd, and Alex Beaumont to round out the field at the end of one lap.
Jack Pennington has already picked up a couple spots, getting around Skip Ard in the 19 car of Alan Baker. Now Pennington working on the 2 car of Mike Johnson. In the back of the pack, Jack Pennington, a tough runner from Augusta, Georgia. Did some NASCAR Winston Cup driving a few years ago in the close racing entry. Back in dirt, having one heck of a year. We've got one in trouble.
And a yellow flag will wave as the young driver out of Imperial, Pennsylvania, Mike Johnson, gets the number 2 car way too high in corner number 3 and 4. Drops it off the racing embankment and slides to a stop, and Johnson able to keep the car fired up as he brings his car back out onto the racing surface. Tough break for the young driver Mike Johnson out of Imperial, Pennsylvania.
The black car of Jack Pennington being scored as 011.
As we look for a green flag restart, green flag out, and we're back underway.
Bart Hartman, his car looks very, very quick as he pulled Freddie Smith 2 or 3 car lengths lead down the front chute. Bart going a little bit high coming out of turn 2, the young driver out of South Zanesville, Ohio.
And now on lap number 4, Hartman's car looking real strong as he works his way down the front chute into corner number 1. Freddie Smith right on the back bumper though, sitting second. Good tussle going on for that 6th and 7th position between Skip Harp in the 31 car and Alan Baker in car 19. As they're having a good run for that 6th and 7th position.
This is the best that I've ever seen Bart Hartman look here at Pittsburgh. He qualified very, very well here this afternoon, and he's up front with the master himself trying to run him down Freddie Smith.
Well, Mike Johnson pulling his bullet chassis car back down into the infield area, so the young driver out of Imperial, PA, calling it a afternoon of this heat race. A little shuffling in the positions in the back of the pack as Skip Harp got out of shape in corner 3. That allowed Alan Baker and Rodney Combs to move by him. Meanwhile, the battle's starting to shape up in front as Freddie Smith is putting pressure on Bart Hartman. And now on the halfway point, Smith moves to the inside of Hartman. Freddie noses ahead. What a strong move by the master, Freddie Smith. Hartman left that door open just a crack, and Freddie Smith said, "That's what I wanted to see." Down to the inside he went, and Freddie now started to put some ground between he and second running Bart Hartman.
Well, school's in, and the bell just rang, and lesson number 1 in Pittsburgh for the young Bart Hartman. Don't go wide. Coming out of turn 4, leave the door open. And the master, Freddie Smith, got underneath Hartman, and at 3 taking the lead.
So Freddie Smith out in front now in that Bazooka base tube golf valve service Cintas uniform sponsored 00 car. As Hartman continues to race second, Moran third, Rodney Franklin sitting fourth, Jack Pennington fifth. And it's Alan Baker riding sixth with Skip Arp seventh. Mark Fraser racing in the 8th spot, followed by Stanko, Lloyd, and Beaumont to round out the field.
Looks like 3-time Hillbilly 100 winner Rodney Combs taking the 1 Ford Benson Ford powered automobile pit side as the car slowly heads into the pits. The day may be over for the former Lost Creek, West Virginia driver Rodney Combs.
Well, things could get a little interesting here as Freddie Smith is caught up with some of the back markers. Freddie has to get out of the gas, and that allows Bart Hartman to move right back up on the back bumper of Smith. As Freddie tries to work his way through the lap traffic, Bart Hartman right back in the hunt. And keep your eyes on that 99 in the 01 car, Moran and Franklin. They're going to get back in the action also. Lap traffic in front with just a few laps to go.
Should be interesting. Moran now starting on the slower cars. Here comes Moran down on the inside. Freddie finally gets down underneath the 22 car. No, not that time.
Alex Beaumont, J.T. Lloyd in front of the leaders as the white flag comes out for race leader Freddie Smith. So one more racing lap to go. Freddie now goes to the inside trying to get around Alex Beaumont. He gets around Beaumont. That gets a lap car between the leader and second running Hartman. They come off of corner number 4. Second heat race winner, Freddie Smith. Bart Hartman to finish second. Donnie Moran third by half a car length with Rodney Franklin fourth. Jack Pennington fifth. Alan Baker sixth. Skip Arp in the number 7 position. Rounding out the top 8, that'll be Mark Fraser in the 9F. So your top 3 transfers out of that second heat race. In the number 3 spot is the 99 car of Donnie Moran. Second spot goes to the 11 car of Bart Hartman. And your winner of heat race number 2 out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, driving the Bazooka base tubes, golf valve service, Cintas racing uniform sponsored number 00 car. How about a nice Pennsboro ovation for Freddie Smith? Ready to go. The 50-50 continues to grow. 50-50 tickets will be on sale for right around another hour. As it stands right now, someone out there going home with at least $1,000 in their pocket as their share of the 50-50 draw. So if you haven't got your 50-50 tickets yet, the girls are working the grandstands, the hillsides, and tickets also on sale at the bottom of the hill. Someone going home with at least $1,000 is their share of the 50-50 draw here at the Pennsboro Speedway. So heat race number 3 getting set to go, and this is the way they'll stack them up. Starting on the front row with the pole position out of Grayson, Kentucky in the B4 car, Jack Boggs. Outside of him from Strasburg, Ohio in the M1 car, the engine builder B.A. Melkett.
Row 2 will be the Duke Center, Pennsylvania driver, the 17 automobile of Todd Andrews. And out of Northwest Burlington, Iowa, the 99 car of Johnny Johnson.
On row number 3, then to the inside, driving the one-star car will be Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania's Chubb Frank. Outside of that third row, in car number 42 out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania, will be Jeff Robinson.
Row 4 in the 114, the chauffeur out of Kentucky will be Randall Chubb. And on the outside will be the 4X out of Augusta, Georgia, Ed Basie.
Over on row number 5, then starting to the inside out of Ashland, Kentucky, in the Rat 1 will be Steve Francis. Outside of that row will be the 39 car of Henry Hornsby from Beckley, West Virginia.
Row 6 will be the 27 car of Phil O'Donnell out of Butler, Pennsylvania. And on the outside will be the S2 car of Rick Strong. Scheduled to start on the tail in car number 69 out of Buchanan, West Virginia. It will be John Ward in the white 69 car.
As Jack Boggs and B.A. Malka get set to go with the start here for this third qualifying heat race. Green flag comes out and we're underway.
Well, I'll tell you what, Boggs really started it coming out of turn 3 that time. Really was hot on the throttle as they exited turn 3, and he got a good-sized jump over Brad Malkin, Todd Andrews.
So Jack Boggs out in front as Todd Andrews moves into the second spot. B.A. Malkin races third. Johnny Johnson sits fourth. Racing fifth is Chubb Frank.
This race pretty much is Jack Boggs. When you get Boggs out in front at Pennsboro, he knows how to defend himself.
Now the Hawkeye driver, Johnny Johnson, getting the 99 car around B.A. Malka, coming off of corner number 2, takes the number 3 spot. And a yellow flag will be waving as the 27 car of Phil O'Donnell gets turned around up on the top side of the speedway. As we get back to speed, green flag out, and we're back to racing with this third heat.
Brad Malkin losing a viable spot before that caution came out for Johnny Johnson. And that will come back, I think, a little bit later in this race to hunt Brad Malkin, that M1 car. Steve Francis getting a little bit wide and losing the door for Jeff Robinson. And Ed Basie tried to sneak down on the inside. Look at Francis way up on the outside. Steve Francis in that Rat 1, the car out of North Vernon, Indiana, in the Action Auto Center sponsored car. Francis starting to backpedal through the field here this afternoon.
Well, everybody's sort of pretty much getting themselves into a straight line as Boggs has 10 car lengths between he and Andrews. Another 12 back to third running Johnny Johnson as Malkin sits fourth and Chubb Frank fifth. Jeff Robinson in the Bob Cowan Calhoun's Ford Lincoln Mercury Ford powered Thunderbird. The 42 car gets around Randall Chubb, moves into sixth. Chubb backpedaling as Ed Basie goes by him, entering corner 3.
Kentucky, who wrenched on Jack Boggs' car for a number of years, also on the Freddie Smith automobile, decided to get behind the wheel and not doing too bad of a job for his first ever appearance here at this 107-year-old facility.
A race leader, Jack Boggs, moving up on the slower car of John Ward down in corner 3 and 4. The halfway point will be out, 8 laps down, 7 laps remain as Boggs goes by the slower car of John Ward. Todd Andrews still continuing to race second with Johnny Johnson third. B.A. Malkin fourth and Chubb Frank fifth.
Brent race leader Jack Boggs, who owned this race in the mid-'80s, from 84 to about 87, this was his race. He's been out of victory circle for a number of years here at Pennsboro for this race. And I know this afternoon he would like to put that B4 back in the victory circle, and it looks like he's well on his way, the way it looks in this qualifying heat race.
Al Boggs right now with nearly a 3/4 straightaway length lead on second running Todd Andrews as this race winds down. Really the battle right now is for the third spot as Johnny Johnson sits third and B.A. Malka trying to run him down. Leaders going by that slower car of John Ward. But Boggs right now with a huge chunk of real estate on the field as he works his way off of corner number 4. So the race winding down here, this third heat qualifier, as Jack Boggs has a good size of lead over that second running car of Todd Andrews. Johnny Johnson trying to hang on to third as B.A. Malka tries to run him down. The one-star car of Chubb Frank sitting fifth. The white flag will be displayed. One more lap to go for Jack Boggs in the B4. Corner number 4, coming in on the checkered flag. Third heat winner, it'll be Jack Boggs with the win. Second spot will go to Todd Andrews in car 17. Riding home third will be Johnny Johnson in the 99 car. Finishing fourth will be B.A. Malkin in the M1. Fifth spot to Chubb Frank in the 1-star. So the top 3 finishers in that third qualifying heat race. In the number 3 spot is the 99 car of Johnny Johnson from West Burlington, Iowa. Second spot goes to the 17 car of Todd Andrews out of Duke Center, Pennsylvania. And your winner of heat race number 3 out of Grayson, Kentucky, in the Chevy Baird Gate Company Miller Racing B4 car. How about a nice round of applause for Jack Boggs? For heat race number 4 will look like this. Starting on the pole in car number 44 out of Westminster, Maryland will be Gary Stuhler. Outside of that front row from Bradley, West Virginia, and the number 1 car, Charge and Charlie Swartz.
Row 2 makes up this way. Dillonville, Ohio's the T8 of Mark Bunnell, and on the outside of him, Frewsburg, Maryland's car number 48, Brian Ruhlman.
On row number 3, then to the inside out of Hagerstown, Maryland, driving the number 24 car will be Nathan Durborough. Outside of him in the 0E car, the young hard charger from York, Pennsylvania, Rick Eckert.
Row 4 will be Weston, West Virginia, the 68 car of Tim Hitt, and on the outside out of Westminster, Maryland, Charlie Schaefer in car 12.
On row number 5, then to the inside will be the 4 car of Ed Ferree from Saxonsburg, Pennsylvania. Outside of that row will be the 33 car of Bob Mosky. And on your final row then, scheduled is the A55 car of Bob Adams Jr. from Racine, Ohio. The 59 car of Dub Barnhouse from Caldwell, Ohio. Rounding out the field then, the number 100 car of Dan Pickell.
And in 1993, in that Bullet Racing chassis, H&E Racing engines. The car based out of Westminster, Maryland. Stoller having one of those banner years up in western Maryland.
Race number 4 gets lined up, ready to go. Stuhler and Swartz, and problems on the start as Stuhler and Swartz make contact going through the 3 and 4 corner. Collects a few other cars. I believe the 49 car of Brian Ruhlman also involved. And the A55 car, I also believe, of Bob Adams Jr. also being involved in this skirmish down in corner number 4. So Charlie Swartz able to fire the number 1 car back up as he heads pit side. Damage on the left front of his car. Gary Stuhler also going pit side of the 44 car as he's got damage on the right rear of the Speedy Hayes number 44 car.
Was not Marie in that Franklin Racing Service. Cars on credit.
The number 44 car, the Bullet chassis car, back out through the pit area, so looks as though Stuhler will be able to continue on.
Brent, the field now works out of 3 and 4. We're back under green once again. Mark Bunnell this time gets the jump. And Nathan Darko jumps into the runner-up spot. The big man out of Hagerstown, Maryland, the 24 Ray Best car.
So Mark Bunnell jumping out with the early race lead as Durborough had the 24 car's right rear hang out on him. That allowed Rick Eckert to close up racing third. Ruhlman sits fourth with Tim Hitt fifth as we come in now on lap number 1. Hitt with a strong move in corner number 4 and too strong as he gets into the inside guardrail coming off the corner number 4. Doing a lot of damage to the front end of the number 68 car, Tim Hitt out of West Union, West Virginia. So Tim Hitt sitting in that number 5 position went down between the number 3 and 4 corners. The door opened up around the 49 car of Ruhlman and the 0E car of Eckert. Hitt went down to the inside, was able to get around Ruhlman, made a slight contact with Eckert's 0E car, and the car then all of a sudden turned down to the inside of the racetrack. Front end of the car getting into the inside guardrail and around to the 68 car of Tim Hitt.
On the throttle when he hit wide open. He was on the gas.
Been completed as the folks at Work Tractor Sales working to get the 68 car of Tim Hitt back to the pit area. Tough break for the G&G salvage sponsor mount of Tim Hitt. A lot of damage on the car, most of it on the front end, of course, and I believe possibly the radiator may have been taken out on the 68 car of Tim Hitt. Up the pace coming through the 3 and 4 corner, and again problems down in corner 4 as green flag is out. And the yellow flag will be right behind it as some bumping and banging going on in the back of the pack, trying to get themselves all wound up here for the start. Down on his car, looks as though the right front flattened on the 24 car of Nathan Durborough. Safety crews, track officials moving out, trying to pull that sheet metal back from that left rear tire.
Well, Ricky Eckert has got that right rear tire change, and the York, Pennsylvania driver will come back. Maryland and Eastern Pennsylvania cars in the back of the pack. 3 good running cars, must state that also. So it should be interesting as Durborough, Stuhler, and now Ricky Eckert will all be in those last 2 rows.
The front row, trying to get this 4th start of this 4th qualifying heat race in the books and underway.
For heat race action here.
So Mark Bunnell, Brian Ruhlman bring the field around. Green flag waves as we get back to racing. And down into that first and second corner they go. Mark Bunnell out with the early race lead as Brian Ruhlman sits second. Charlie Schaefer and Bob Moski battling for third as they're side by side into corner 3, and Moski wins the drag race into corner 3.
Bob Moski, the independent out of St. Clair, Ohio, is in that last transfer spot. Moski has had to see dollar signs in his eyes. The independent, the Bob's Auto Service Special, trying to hang on, but there's a lot of laps left in this qualifier.
And looks as though Nathan Durborough in problems on the backside of the racetrack over in corner number 3. And a yellow flag will be waving as Nathan Durborough in the Ray Best excavating car off the pace heading down the backside of the racetrack. Down 13 remain. Green flag back out and we're off and racing.
Gary Stuhler looked on the outside. outside of Bob Adams that time. Decided to duck it down on the inside and try Adams on the inside. Watch the 44 of Stoller and Rick Eckert trying to work their way back up to the front. Both drivers were scheduled to start in near the front due to accidents early in this event. Now a tough way to go for both Eckert and Stoller.
As they race down through the 3 and 4 corner, Banal out by about 10 car lengths over Ruhlman. Mosky still third. Schaefer and Adams sitting 4th and 5th as Stoller and Eckert battle for the 6th and 7th spots. Stoller looking to the inside, coming off of corner number 2. Charlie Schaefer seeing Bob Adams Jr. go to the outside down in corner 3 and 4. Bandit getting caught to the outside, and he'll shuffle back a couple of spots, allowing Stoller and Eckert to move up.
You know, Brent, I do not believe there's any outside groove right now in the stands. I watched Bob Adams, the attempt, try to go on the outside, and Adams really lost a lot of positions there.
Brian Ruhlman tried it also, and he just lost second spot to Bob Mosky. Is not the place to go yet, as probably not enough rubber laid down on the top side of the racetrack. As Mosky moves into second, Ruhlman back to third, Schaefer fourth, Stoller fifth, and Eckert sixth.
Right now, it seems the only way to pass is down on the inside and try to edge someone out of that inside groove. And trying to watch Gary Stoller work on Charlie Schaefer as they go into turns 1 and 2. Watch Stoller. Stoller right now is quicker than Schaefer, but cannot get down to the inside.
And on the halfway point, 8 racing laps down, 7 racing laps remain. Banal in front with Mosky second, Ruhlman races third, Charlie Schaefer fourth, Gary Stoller fifth, Rick Eckert sits sixth, Bob Adams Jr. seventh, Ed Ferree in the number 8 spot, Dan Piquel rounds out the field in 9th.
There goes Stoller, finally getting the break that he needed. Stoller, Charlie Schaefer made the mistake, and Stoller slipped underneath to pick up that 4th spot. Now Gary Stoller has his sights set on Brian Ruhlman.
And a car slowing on the inside of corner number 3. That's the 100 car of Dan Piquel. So caution flag will be out as the 100 car of Dan Piquel on green flag waves, and we're back racing.
Well, Stoller is going to make a move. He's got to close up on the back bumper of Brian Ruhlman. Brian a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 that time. Maybe a break for Stoller if he can attack coming out of turn 2. Bob Mosky now starting to slow up a bit, so it looks like race leader Mark Bunnell pretty well gone, but the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place car starting to develop a battle there.
Well, the laps are winding down as we'll keep our eye on that battle for third. There it is. Ruhlman got wide. Stoller moves into third.
The break that Stoller needed. The door opened and Stoller wasted no time to sneak that 44 car down on the inside. Costly mistake for the young New York driver.
So Mark Bunnell still out in front with Mosky sitting second and Stoller now third. Ruhlman trying to hang on to fourth as Rick Eckert has moved into fifth. Shuffling Schaefer back to the 6th spot. Adams Jr. sits 7th with Ferree in the number 8 position. Well, Rick Eckert with that inside move coming off of corner 2, trying to work his way around Ruhlman for the 4th position. Eckert goes down low, takes 4th from Ruhlman.
Ruhlman's car really is running like it is on ice right now. Ruhlman really having a hard time keeping the car under control. Also, watch Bob Mosky and Gary Stoller battling out for the runner-up spot, Brent, as they head into 3 and 4.
A white flag displayed. One more racing lap to go. Bunnell in front. Mosky has Stoller right on his back bumper as Eckert tries to close in that 0 car. So 3 cars shuffling for the final 2 transfer spots as they head off of corner 2.
Oh, it's going to get interesting. They head down the back straightaway. Oh, Eckert's car slipping up. That may cost him a shot for that 3rd spot.
The winner of heat race number 4, Mark Banal, coming in 2nd. It'll be Muskie with Stuhler 3rd, Eckert 4th. Ruman to finish 5th, followed by Charlie Schaefer, Bob Adams Jr., and Ed Ferree. So your top 3 finishers out of that 4th qualifying heat race. In the 3rd spot's the 44 car of Gary Stuhler. 2nd position goes to the 33 car of Bob Mosky. And your 4th heat winner out of St. Make that Dillonvale, Ohio, in the T8 car. How about a nice round of applause for Mark Banal?